Now for the main event, I would like to introduce Amanda Altman. Amanda Altman is the owner of A3 Design, a package design and branding agency with her husband Alan since 2003. They work with companies to create authentic brand experiences through compelling visuals. They are a team of strategic thinkers with an innate understanding of color theory, composition, typography, hierarchy, and consumer behavior. They are helped to get products on the shelves of Whole Foods, Earth Fare, Wegmans, Costco, and countless smaller boutiques. Helped clients show at national retail trade shows, including Fancy Food Show, and had one client present and win on Shark Tank. Dollop Gourmet aired on May 6th. Amanda is an experienced and dynamic speaker on many topics and hosts a full-day workshop on bringing your big idea to the retail marketplace twice a year. She's also spoke at our BizCon convention last year, and we hope that you will all join us on October 12th this year for the Biz Convention. Without further ado, I would now hand it over to Amanda Altman.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Adina, for that introduction. You went over a lot of stuff that I was going to do in my own introduction, so thank you. I am here today to talk to you about developing and communicating your brand. So as Adina said, my name is Amanda Altman. My husband and I own A3 Design, a strategy-driven branding and package design agency. And what that means is that we really have a strategy that we follow to provide the best branding solutions for your business and your products. Everyone is a consumer these days, and whether you know it or not, the same ideas go into purchasing a laundry soap as does a service. So I want you to know that a lot of the things that we'll be talking about today will be shown as examples as retail products because it's a very easy thing for you to wrap your head around. But everything that we'll be talking about is completely applicable to a service and yourself and your business. So I'll be showing you a little bit of work as I talk about some of these things, and then we'll go into some strategy. Behind me, you'll see some of the work that we've done. These are all products that we've launched, but we've also worked with a number of companies and services to brand and market their businesses. So let's just get started. How many of you have a logo for your business and you created that logo simply out of necessity? You maybe you researched and picked an icon or some clip art. You chose a color that you like. You put it all in Word and you chose a font and wrote your name, your business name out, and now you have a logo. There was very little thought that went into creating your logo. What I aim to do today is to help you think about and revise that logo to provide you with a better way of communicating to your customers. I really want your marketing communication, your visual communication, starting with your logo and your brand, to rise above the chatter in your industry and showcase the best things that you have about your business. Let's see. So in doing that, what you see here, you'll see this business a couple of times in my presentation. It really works to be simplified. It communicates quickly. These are things that you really need to keep in mind as you're developing your graphic presence. But your logo is not the only part of your brand. Every part of everything that you are and you present as your business is your brand. The words that you choose to speak, the way that you answer the phone, how you choose to dress yourself, the background to your webinar, the words that you put on your social media, these are all aspects to your brand. Your brand, you are your brand. Your brand is a living, breathing thing, and everything that communicates a portion of your brand should be thought about strategically, cohesive, and communicate the same authentic message. Let's see. It is all extremely important for success. Everything that you have and you say needs to be clear, it needs to be consistent, and I don't want you to take it lightly. I want you to really think about the strategy that goes into it as much as the service offering that you offer. So many people put so much effort into the product that they're providing and the service that they're offering, and they neglect the message that they're putting out there with their brand. With a homemade brand, with something that you've just thrown together or you just sort of go by the seat of your pants in doing, it really puts the message out there that your business may not be credible. How many times have you seen a homemade label on a jar of honey or a sauce, something like that? What that puts out there is that you're a hobby business, that you're not taking everything, every element of your branding seriously. And you really need to have everything buttoned up aside from just the services that you're offering in order to communicate that before they even get to you. So professional branding is something that I talk about. Creating a stellar brand is an investment that you will continually see a return on. It is something that will consistently and constantly communicate, and it will work to create an organic tribe, and that's something that we'll talk about later, that helps to sell your business for you. Coming up with great ideas, whether a retail product, a business-to-business, or an individual consultant. Like I said, all of these concepts, all of these ideas are applicable to all of those businesses. What I really want you to understand is that whether we like it or not, we have the consumer mind, and that's how we're making the majority of our decisions. So I've got some stuff on today's agenda. I just want a quick overview of what I've got planned. The goals of branding, branding questions, or the branding questions that you'll see in your booklet. Then we've got some design philosophy starting with color theory, and then how to start to build or engage your tribe organically on social media. So we'll go into a bit of social media strategy there as well. So let's get into it, and you'll see me look down because I have some notes here, and I've got a lot of stuff on my screen, so I can't always just read my screen. So if you see me look down, I apologize. But we're going to start with a quote from Gary V. Brands mature over time like a marriage. The bond you feel with your spouse is different than when you first met each other. Excitement and discovery are replaced by comfort and depth. Now, if you haven't looked up Gary and you haven't heard of Gary, I strongly suggest that you do. He is a branding and marketing genius. He has utilized Twitter to literally create a branding and marketing empire. I listen to his words of wisdom on my Facebook feed every day, and he does a great job at just lighting the fire under your ass to do more within this realm. So there's his book, there's a little bit of his resume. I strongly suggest you look him up. You'll see a couple of quotes throughout this presentation today from him. He's got great words of wisdom. So let's go back to that quote. Brands mature over time like a marriage. This is a pretty hard-hitting concept. We have relationships with brands. It's a weird thing to think about, but we do. When you think about the things that you use that you're like, oh, I must have this brand laundry detergent, Windex, for instance. You know, I can't tell you how many cleaning products I've tried. I've tried to be a crunchy mama. I've tried to mix vinegar and water. Nothing, everything leaves streaks. I am just so loyal to that stupid blue solution, Windex. That's the only thing I'll use. I've used it as long as I've been cleaning my house, right? So this is a brand loyalty. I have a relationship with that brand, right? Yes, there are new brands that I'd love to try out. So I'll date them, I'll buy them, maybe once, maybe twice. Maybe they become a brand that I have a long-lasting relationship with, 10 and 20 years, which honestly is longer than a lot of marriages. So it is. Our relationships with brands are like a marriage. They're a badge to us. And more brands are becoming a badge. I'm going to pop this up here. I'm a very visual and emotional person. If you are a woman in the crowd, you've got a strong reaction to this image. It makes you happy. You want to open it. You want to wear what's inside. If it's a guy, it might cause you a little bit of anxiety that you have to purchase what's in that box and pay for it. But this is a brilliant example of an amazing brand, Tiffany's. Yes, they've got a whole lot of money. They put a whole lot of time and effort into the brand, but everything that this brand exudes is Tiffany. When you walk in the store, the catalog that you lust after year, if you call their customer service, I guarantee you the person on the other end is going to speak the Tiffany brand. So this is a great example of, without even speaking, without even a visual logo, this is a brand. I have the same reaction, the same relationship with Crayola crayons. It's become more prominent now that I have kids and I'm sort of reliving my youth. But I love everything about these Crayola crayons, right? This box here, this rose art box, doesn't give me the same reaction. I don't have the same amount of nostalgia. I don't have the same relationship with this rose art brand that I do these Crayola crayons. They smell amazing. They've got that smooth, beautiful cone tip, right? Just the feel of the paper is different around them. Everything about them is an experience that I enjoy and love. That is the type of experience that you want people to have with you in your brand, that they come back to you time and time again, that they have a timeless relationship with you and your brand. Back to our little Tiffany's box, right? So like I said, everything that this brand exudes is Tiffany's, right? Everything that these people do is Tiffany's. It's a big picture item, right? I've just talked a little bit about like the relationship and the experience. What I aim to do right now is provide you with goals for branding and bring it back to your business. So if we were to take Tiffany's and give the goals for branding, what are they doing? They're creating a story. Tiffany's has worked to create a story and sell that story such a way that people love what they're buying. Another brilliant quote from Gary here. Okay, so our goals for branding: evoke an emotion, promotion of a lifestyle, deliver on a promise, and communicate a message. Those are our goals for branding, okay? So your brand should hit each one of those goals. You should be able to write out and identify things that answer each one of these goals for you and your brand. Let's do that for Tiffany. I feel special and happy. That's the emotion that I evoke. I have exclusivity, and what is inside is luxurious, and I can't wait to put it on. I'm excited, right? It's expensive. I'm in a special little club for wearing this little Tiffany & Co. mark. And last but not least, it communicates all of that in the brand of Tiffany's. It communicates the quality, the luxury, the experience in this little box. This box here, I'm sure it's got jewelry in it. It's a very pretty box. I'm not as excited to get this box as I am a Tiffany's box because it doesn't have the brand attached to it, right? It doesn't have that emotional response. So in your booklet, you've got that booklet there that you can download, and I think Adina's going to email it to you later. I've included a little bit of a worksheet. There are 6 questions in there that I specifically ask, and if you were to answer those 6 questions, you would have your goals for branding. You would have your goals for branding. So what I want you to do is, I mean, whether or not you've got the worksheet pulled up or not, it's not a big deal. Maybe you've printed it out, great, you can take some notes, but really, I don't want you to answer these questions right now. I really want you to sit on them and ponder them and come up with thoughtful and authentic answers to these questions. So question number 1, what do you promise your audience? This question is very similar to what is your mission statement, but so often in people's mission statement, it is about business. It is about our business values, our business philosophy. It's not what I'm asking about here. I want you to craft a very succinct, creative, and authentic promise to your customers based in your values and your philosophy without explaining your values or your philosophy. I promise my customers that I will X, Y, and Z. And that is what I'm asking for here. Target demographic. I want you to get so specific with this. You can start broad. You can say, oh, females 18 to 55. That is the majority of the shopping consumers, okay? That's not what I'm asking for here. I want to know where these people shop. I want to know where they live. I want to know their income, their education. I want to know what they eat for breakfast, if they have any inclination to buy one product over another, if they have brand loyalty to big name brands, because that can start to tell a lot about the person that you're looking for to market to. Believe it or not, the more niche, the more descriptive you can get about your target demographic, the easier it's going to be to market to them, okay? So just saying, oh, we do logos. Anybody that has a business will do a logo for, sort of. But in our industry, we've chosen to niche in package design as well. So, and even within package design, we get a lot of organic. So we market to a lot of the organic products. We have a segment of our business that works a lot with wine, beer, and spirits. So we market a lot to that. Personally, as a consultant, I work a lot with small businesses to help them get their businesses marketed. And that's what I'm working on with you guys today. So while big businesses may need a rebranding, and we take that case by case as they come to us, I'm not out there actively looking for that. If they've got an organic product, I'm out there actively looking for that, and maybe I've pinged them in one way or another. But that's what I'm talking about in terms of target demographic. Get really right down into the niche of what you're looking for in your tribe. And I mentioned tribe the first time here. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But what you're trying to do is identify the people that you want in your tribe, the people that you want to sell to that will help sell your product for you. The next is your competition. Identify your competition. Do this competitor research. I strongly encourage it, and it is going to help you leaps and bounds. You need to know not only what companies are out there doing what you're doing, but what are they offering, what are they identifying as their differentiator, and most importantly, What do you offer differently than anybody else out there, okay? If you've got a tomato sauce and you use only heirloom tomatoes, that is an amazing differentiator, and that needs to be communicated properly in all of your marketing, or else you've lost that sale on somebody that is looking for an amazing differentiator like that, like an heirloom tomato, like an organic, like an all natural, like a Demeter organic. These are all things that make that specific industry have amazing differentiators. You know what? Your experience and education level is not a differentiator. I need this to be creative, I need it to be authentic, and I need it to be something that the consumer can relate to. Because quite honestly, everybody in your field should be just as credible, should have all of the certifications that you have, should have all of the experience that you have, right? You have to assume that everybody is on the same level playing field as you when it comes to credibility, and choose your differentiators in that way amongst values, okay? So this is question 5, and believe it or not, this is one of the hardest questions to answer. I've posed some pretty hard-hitting questions so far, but this is one of the hardest questions to answer. And it kind of piggybacks on what your differentiator is. This one feeds off of that. I really want you to distill down in just 3 words. If you were to take 3 words and say, I need all of my communication, all of my messaging, all of my branding, my website, all of my visuals, I needed to say these 3 things, okay? And I want them to be creative. I want them to be valuable. I want them to be relatable, okay? These are things that are going to make these words authentic to your consumers. And authenticity is so very important in delivering on that promise that you're making to your consumers, all right? A real quick example here. Dialogue Communications, they came to us and they needed a rebrand, and we were happy to help them out. They're a mid-sized business in Charlotte, North Carolina. They were having problems communicating the fact that they are innovative and that they've got all of these brand new technologies to help out their consumers. They were an old company, and their old logo had an old telephone handset, right, with the spiral cord coming out, the one that's like connected to the rotary telephone. How outdated is that? Okay, it was mustard yellow. I think their business was started in the 70s, and that's clearly obvious. But they had to evolve to maintain their business, and what they're doing now is they are running cable technology and communication technology out to very rural areas of the United States. Places that, you know, are hard to get water and electricity to, they're getting internet to and phone service to. And you think that's crazy, but there are a lot of places like that, okay? So they needed something that communicated that to their consumers. And this is the rebrand that we did for them. Their 3 words were technology, innovation, and communication. And that's what we aimed to do for them. We aimed to provide them with a brand that was going to allow them to grow with their consumers' needs and allow them to grow their service offerings in the future, okay? That's something else you really need to think about in branding. You don't want to be changing your messaging and your visuals, something that people are innately connected to, that visual sense. You don't want to be changing that every 2 or 5 years because you've got a new idea or a new product. What you need to do is think about your branding in terms of lifelong use, okay? Think about your business plan in terms of 5 years, and 10 years, and 20 years, Okay, your brand may evolve a little bit over that time. Look at Shell, look at Coke, right? These are long time standing brands that have evolved visually from over the time. But over time, they've really stayed consistent. Unlike Dialogue that needed a complete, their slate wiped clean, right? But from this point on, Dialogue can add a number of services. They can add technologies. They can add departments, and they will still be true to their innovation, technology, and communication with the visuals that we've created for them. Last but not least, this isn't really a question, this is more of an activity, but this is a style board. And what I want you to do is create a style board for the brand that you envision. This can be done on Pinterest. I think Pinterest is a great place to start collecting your vision for your brand. But this can also be done with poster board, a glue stick, and a lot of magazines too. I mean, that's a way to do it. This can include anything. Other logos, it can include fabric swatches that you like, it can include package designs, labels, really anything that you think sort of fits in that silo of, hey, this communicates to the tribe that I look to engage, okay? Anything that you think communicates your values. If you're a spa and you really want to have a natural, peaceful setting, things like a forest may be included in your style board, or a stream, a babbling brook over some rocks. Okay, so start to think about what visuals would inspire the creation of your visual communication, and that's what your style board would be. And ultimately, with all of this, I'm going to go back. I wonder if I can go back. Yeah, okay. So ultimately, with all of this, with all of your questions answered here, you should have a good playbook for your brand. You should have the goals of your brand identified, and you take all of this to a marketing strategist and a designer, and they create for you the plan and the brand that you need to accurately communicate to your customers, right? And again, things not to be taken lightly. So before I delve into some design philosophy, I'm going to ask Adina if there are any questions out there about what I just talked about. Anything out there, Adina?
Yes, I actually have one question, and I'm the GM of a family entertainment center, and I'm wondering, in regards to demographics, how you would attack trying to nail down a targeted demographic. We're very broad in our targeting since we're selling family fun, so it's tough. Just wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Family fun. So my thoughts on that are we really need to think about who makes the buying decisions in the family and what those buying decisions are based on. I would say in families, the majority of the shoppers are women. And that is a generalization. There are men out there that love to shop, but I guarantee you it's the wife, it's the mom that's going out there and doing the research. She wants to make sure that it looks good in her house, that it's got all of the features that are going to hold everything that she needs it to hold. That starts to identify your target demographic is the shopper, right? That's the mother. The other thing buying decisions are made on is price. So take a look at your pricing structure, see where you land and what type of family that would fit into. Does it need to be a higher education, higher income family? Am I shopping at Value City or am I shopping at Best Buy, right? Like there's a difference there, and you have to take that into consideration because that'll help identify your target demographic. The other thing not to negate, and always look at with family is the kids. So how are you servicing the kids with your family fun? You know, sort of the same sort of consumer philosophy and theory goes towards selling cereals in the grocery store. The kids are buying the cereals. Yes, mom wants to make sure it's healthy, but ultimately the kid-focused cereals are on the lower level, right? Because that's their eye level. They're never, up here is Raisin Bran, up here is Kellogg's and you know, the Special K and all that kind of stuff. Down here is where your Fruit Loops and your Moana marshmallows are. Take that shopping philosophy towards your entertainment centers. And how are you servicing the children? What is so fun? What is your differentiator to make the kids want this? Because kids have way more pull in our buying decisions than we ever want to. I mean, that's how I bought my vehicle, right? I would love, you know, a nice little sporty car. I have a minivan with the screens, the drop-down screens for each of the kids. They can watch their stuff, right? It's got the chairs with all of their, you know, cup holders and stuff. That's how I decided to buy my car. Was what's gonna keep the kids quiet and happy. You need to start thinking that way about marketing your entertainment centers, and I think you'll start to really hone in on what that target demographic is for you. So if there's no more questions, I'm going to move on. The next portion of my presentation deals with a little bit of design philosophy. So now that we've got this big overall plan, we have to create something and think about what we want that to look like. So the first part of design philosophy that I'm going to talk about gets a gut reaction from everybody, and this is color theory. Now, color theory is extremely controversial, and there are entire semesters devoted to color theory in school. So what I'm going to go over is very high level, very almost stereotypical thinking on color theory, because honestly, color theory can be debunked by your cultural experiences, your experience with other products and brands. A lot of that can influence color theory and debunk what I'm about to say, but the majority of this is generalization for the consumer philosophy, okay? This is a beautiful graphic that's done by the logo company, and it starts to identify certain feelings and emotions with certain colors, okay? And in this chart, it puts in brands that we are all familiar with into these emotions in this chart to sort of give you an idea of, yeah, this is what's going on. This is what people do. So the thumbs up there, right, the yellow, that is all consistency. It is reliability, right? UPS, you want to make sure your package is there. Sprint and Chevrolet, you want to make sure that stuff works and it is there. That's credibility. When we talk about energy and feel-goodness and sort of a kid-like energy, that is going to be our yellow, right? So we want to have a good time. We want to have fun with it. Or orange, I'm sorry, orange. That's what orange is. I mean, look at that. Harley Davidson, Fanta, Nickelodeon. When we're talking about sales and a higher level of energy around sort of an excitement or an event, that is what red is communicating. Kmart, Target are huge, you know, huge components of that. When you think about CNN, there's an excitement, there's an urgency there that you need to listen to what's going on. And there's some others there. We've got, you know, peace. The green piece is just sort of obvious. There's been so much greenwashing in the world of branding. It's sad, and I could talk days about greenwashing. But so there's a quick chart from the logo company just to give you guys an idea to start that thought process there. So then, you know, and just to solidify that, Target is that deep red. It's got that sales energy. Is it going to do the same thing in green? Are you going to feel the same way about running into a Target if you do it now with the green? It doesn't say sales. I'm not going to get a good deal. It doesn't have that energy. I mean, when you think about those Target commercials, they've got such a bold, bright energy around them. They're clearly selling that with their brand, right? Here's another chart done by the conversioner. So all of these are backed by analytics and research, and that's what I'm trying to get across, is that this isn't just made up. This is stuff that is based in research and analytics from years and years, okay? And again, this is all generalization. A great story that I have about a client is we were marketing, what did he have? He had like $1 million lots in the Outer Banks of South Carolina, okay? These lots didn't even have houses on them. They were literally just waterfront property for like $1 million. We came up with Mariner's Walk, okay? That was the name, Mariner's Walk of the community. And we presented 3 logo options with color palettes that were extremely resort-like. They had seafoam greens and beautiful blues, and they, you know, had a natural ocean-like palette to them. And this, the owner of this community was an alum of South Carolina University, which their colors are red and black. And the rival, right? The rival is the Tar Heels, which is Carolina blue, okay? And we presented in Carolina blue, and he was like, I can't have any of these logos. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, everything's in Carolina blue. He's like, can't you use University red? And I'm like, that is not what we're communicating here. And I know that you have this visceral reaction because you are such a fan of your alumni, but we need to communicate other things here. And everybody that is searching for a $1 million lot on the Outer Banks is not going to feel comfortable spending that money with a company that is on sale and has this crazy energy around it in red. They need to be at peace with that. They need to feel welcomed and friendly, and they want to go to a place where they think that they're going to get away from the hectic everyday life that they live. So, you know, that's where sort of the your experiences and your you know, things like that will definitely have a reaction to these colors and sort of debunk the research. But the majority of people, especially when you're looking at your consumer base, are not thinking the way that you're thinking with your experiences on color. So what about your target market? Of course you need shades and tints are something that I talk about with men and women. I hate to break it down into gender, but it's a thing, right? Like, we have to, that's how you're going to start breaking down your demographic, men and women, and how they shop. Men tend to gravitate towards shades and darker colors, and women prefer softer colors and tints. This graphic was done by Kissmetrics. And if you're really interested in this idea behind color theory, and color choice shouldn't be taken lightly, because whether we know it or not, it's a subconscious, right? Everybody has it. It's subconscious in our shopping experience. I encourage you to look up Kissmetrics because they do, they're a research company and they do a whole lot of research based on the shopping philosophy, right? So what about naming a color? So many, right, I just used Carolina blue and we all know exactly what we were talking about, Tiffany's blue, okay? Naming a color with a brand, that can influence the buyer's decision to buy or not. So when you think about what I have here, right, the nail polish colors, foundation colors, think makeup ladies. So there was research done that 90% of the people polled would rather buy mocha than brown in foundation. Same foundation, just a different label, and they wanted mocha instead of the brown. Right, and we recently came into that with a project that we did. This was the Shark Tank winner, Dollop Frosting, and we had to name their frostings, right? So we had a chocolate, a vanilla, a cinnamon, and a peanut butter flavor. And but the cost that these cans of frosting, I mean, I think on Amazon they're going for like $13. In Whole Foods and Wegmans around here, I think you can get it for like $7 or $8. This is a quality product, right? She really needs to do a whole lot of selling before people even, even pick it up. And then once they pick it up, there's got to be a whole lot of selling on that package to get somebody to buy this over the 99-cent Betty Crocker can of preservatives, okay? So aside from the quality product and ingredients that she has, we wanted to create a mouth-watering, we wanted to evoke a mouth-watering experience. So we named our flavors hot chocolate, peanut butter cookie dough, fireball, and Madagascar vanilla. And that starts to speak to, oh, this tastes good, and this is quality, and this is not the funfetti that I'm going to get with Pillsbury, right? So the differentiators come into play, okay, with all of her quality ingredients, what makes her different, and the branding comes into play. She's got this fun branding that happens there with all of the different bright colors that evokes excitement. It evokes, it's not skewed men or women, and it's not skewed just cake, right? Like it could be put on a number of different things. And then we've got that voice that starts to speak to the experience that they're going to have with the hot chocolate, the Madagascar vanilla, the fireball. So the words that you frame it around has to talk to branding too. So before I delve into finding your tribe, is there any questions that were posed around color theory?
There's actually one question, and it's not with the color theory, it's more about the branding. A question from the audience is, what is the best way to protect your brand and logo outside of the obvious trademark and copyright?
Well, that is the obvious. It does cost a lot of money, though. So the best way to protect it is to use it consistently. Use it consistently with a connection to you and the services that you are providing. Honestly, once a designer creates a logo, we are allowed to put a TM next to it because it is proprietary creative property. And on the date that you start using it in commerce, that is the date that it legally belongs to you. When you pay for that logo and you start to use that logo or that creative in commerce, it legally belongs to you. So all registering it, right, getting the little R in the circle, the copyright registered, all that does is put it in a directory that you're the one that started using this branding on this date, okay? What I encourage people to do if they've got a name or a logo that they are questioning if somebody else is using is to do a USTPO search and see if there's anything registered out there. Of course, do your quick Google search, check out various domain names that might be connected with it, see if there's anything obvious out there, but do a USTPO search. It doesn't cost any money. Everything is out there for everybody to do on their own. It's just legal documentation. And see if anybody has it registered with the government. And if they do, then they could come back and get you for using it, okay? But if you're the first one to use stuff and you haven't registered anything, but somebody starts using something that's extremely similar, you could have a case, even though it's not registered, that this is mine and you can't use it. What the judges are going to look at is when each of you started using those marks or words, and when, and in the category of your industry, okay? And I'm not an attorney. I can't give you any legal advice on any legal advice on any of this, but I know the main overall arching things, things behind this. So it's got to be within your industry category, okay? And it's got to be who used it first. And even if the other people have filed a copyright, if their copyright filing date is later than your first use, you've got a very good case if it was yours first, and you could win. So, creative copyright, right, just organic creative copyright exists because you had the idea, okay? It's different with patents, and that's a whole nother thing. If you've got a good idea that's like a product or an innovation, that's a whole other thing. But creative copyright, once it's created and once you start using it in connection with your services, you just have to have a very clear date and keep great record that this is when I started using it and this is the proof of it. You own it. It's yours. Okay, and unless somebody can prove that they were doing it first, it's protected. So the more you use it, the more it's yours.
Awesome. And I have another question from the audience before we move on. Amanda, is it your experience that blue is generally the most preferred color by both men and women?
With connection to what? I mean, there's so many different shades of blue that mean so many different things. There's, there's a very corporate dark blue, let's say like American flag blue, that that evokes trust in consumers, both men and women. It evokes credibility. It's a very professional color to use. A lot of business-to-business type of companies prefer to use that, I call it dark corporate blue. Then there's a sky blue, and that has a much lighter feeling to it. Whether it's preferred by men or women, it really depends on what it's in connection to. I can't say. And then, there's an even softer blue, like a baby blue, and that is, that has that very calming effect, very spa-like quality, a natural quality to it. So, if I were to put that shade range of blue up, I bet the men would skew towards the brighter, bolder, more corporate blue, and the women would skew the softer baby blue. but to just say, hey, out of the amazing spectrum of colors in the world, the majority of people in general choose blue is crazy.
And I think you answered his question, so we are good to go on that one. Thanks, Amanda.
Yep. Awesome. So let's talk about your tribe, right? We've talked a little bit about how, what a tribe is. We haven't talked a little bit about what a tribe is. I'm going to talk to you about that now. I'm going to talk to you about how to find your tribe and how to start marketing to them on social media. So what is a tribe, right? A tribe is the people that you want to purchase your services or product, and you want to sell your services or product for you. It's the people that organize themselves around you and your services and live your brand for you outside of you. This is a phenomenal example of a tribe, right? Brand loyalty, you are either a Ford lover or a Chevy lover, and you are stark rivals. They have tribes, and those tribes were born organically, okay? Just by the product that they provided, those people were either one or the other. And those people live it and breathe it. They wear it as a badge. I mean, they have tattoos it on their body, okay? And they try to convert other people to be in their tribe with them. And they're selling your product for you. That is what a tribe is. And what we want to do is organically create that tribe for you, okay? So Seth Godin wrote an amazing book about tribes and how social media has sort of solidified its presence in our lifestyle and really marketing in general to create those tribes organically, where other people flock to values, ideas, etc. on the social media and find you because you are under that, and they love the people that are in that community. They try your products and services, and then they start to live and breathe your brand for you, and other people are getting in that tribe because they say, hey, you got to try this because it's amazing and I love it, and you're like me and you're going to love it. And so that's what this book is about. I urge you to pick it up or, just look through it, even if you can on your Kindle or whatever. It's got some amazing philosophy ideas in it about creating your tribe. So to illustrate my point a little more, and really the target demographic that we talked about earlier is going to be the people that you want in your tribe, okay? When I talk about finding that niche, really defining it with all the variations that I asked for in the target demographic, those are going to be the people that you want to build to live and breathe your brand for you. This is an example that I think we all relate to. Beer, right? I've got 3 very distinctly different brands of beer up here. Now, if you look big level, high level of the beer demographic that we're talking about, I think the 3 of these would look very similar. Okay, I think we've got, it would probably skew male. It's probably a very wide range, 21 to 55. And they like beer. Those are kind of the very high level demographics that we're talking about here. But as we delve down into it, I think you would see that the target demographic looks very different for each of those beers. This may be extremely stereotypical, but it is what I envision, and I think you would agree, the consumer is for each of those beers. These people live very different lives. They shop in different places. They have different values. They have different levels of income. They eat different foods. These are all things that you can start to define the demographic for each one of those beer brands before you even get to, I buy this beer. That's what I'm urging you to do with your target demographic so that you can identify who you want your tribe to be. Okay, so back to fostering your tribe. You want these people to form organically. just by the marketing that you're doing, right? So like you can't go out, you can go out and sort of campaign for the people that you want in your tribe, but you have to do it on the fly, okay? You can't say, hey, I want everybody with these target demographics to look at my stuff. No, you got to go out and find the playground that those people are playing on and give them the toys that they want to play with. And then they're going to go out and talk to everybody else there, all right? So finding your tribe. And how do we do that? I'm going to talk about doing that on social media right now, okay? So another great, amazing quote from Gary about telling your story. This is a mouthful, okay? But this is great words of wisdom. And so I printed it in the booklet that you have there so that you can really ponder what he's saying here. So it's not just about telling your story, it's about who you're telling it to, how you're telling it, in the social media platform that you're using to tell your story. And that's how you're going to get to the tribe that you want to foster your message, right? To get your message out there, okay? Using the correct social media and the correct content to context to get your tribe around your product is very, very important. So two big questions that we need to answer in order to do that. Where is your tribe hanging out? And what platform is right for my content? Those are two very big questions. Where are the people? What playgrounds is everybody playing on? And what playground is right for the message that I have for them, okay? So there are a ton, right? There are a ton of social medias out there, and we talked a lot about niches. These are some niche social medias, right? Revelry. If you crochet, I'm so sorry. If you crochet or knit, there's a new one in there, crochet. You're going to want to be on Revelry. That's where your community is, okay? If you live a green life and you want green products, all the green things that you have, then Care To is where you need to be. That's where your people are going to be. If you're a creative, like you want to have a portfolio out there and see what all the new technologies and techniques are, Behance is where you're going to want to be. If you love literature and you just want to see what good books are out there and talk days and days about books, Goodreads is where your community sits. Gentleman is an amazing Pinterest for guys because the demographic for Pinterest skews older women. Gentleman is specifically made for guys. And I mentioned Pinterest. So what is Pinterest and what are all these social medias about, okay? There's a lot of them out there. There's more forming every day. It is exhausting. So I'm going to try to distill it down for you real quick, okay? This is where you're going to see me look down a little bit because there's a lot of good stats here. So here's a graph on sort of the main social medias that are out there, and I'm going to talk about the top 4 that are extremely important in doing business today. So what we have is Facebook, right? So there's over 1.3 billion users. It's the largest of any social media network, and it has become a fixture of our daily online experience. Nearly half of all Facebook users visit each day, and they spend almost 20 minutes in each visit and multiple visits a day. That's a lot of real estate, right? That's a lot of real estate and messaging that you can use. So the thing is that they're not just looking at their feed, they're not just liking baby pictures and dog pictures and things like that. Each Facebook user is connected to about 80 pages of groups, 80 events, 80 things that are outside their feed. They're connected to, and that's really where your opportunity to message to them sits, okay? Twitter is not dead. There are 208 average followers for every user. There are 307 average tweets per person per year, and there's an average of 170 minutes of Twitter each day for an average Twitter user. Twitter is not dead, but what I want to convey to you with Twitter is that it's not about converting leads with Twitter. It really is about brand awareness, right? 85% of the Twitter users polled say that they feel more connected to a brand after they follow a brand and get good advice on how to use it and what's going on. They feel connected and more loyal to a brand by being connected to them on Twitter. All right, and then we've got LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is huge for business to business. That's really where you want to be if you've got a business to business business model. Okay, if you've got a service, LinkedIn is where you want to be. And don't discount it if you've got a retail product, because that's where your retail buyers are, is on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the social network platform for professionals, and professionals are connected to companies. And that's where you really need to do your social media research and promotion on LinkedIn if you've got one of those products, okay? Google Plus. So Google Plus has been slow to adopt by many businesses, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be discounted. I mean, Google has the largest search engine platform in the world, in the internet world. Why are we discounting Google Plus when it's got all those logarithms attached to it, right? It connects your website with your searches with now their own social media platform. Put that information on that social media platform, and you don't think it's going to take precedence in that search when people are looking for the things that you have, for the values that you have, the products you have, the services you have? It absolutely will. It absolutely matters. So aside from the 4 that I've listed on the left side of my slide here, there are a number of other social medias that are sort of mainstream, but I say that if you are not going to be active on these social medias on the right, if they don't have the proper platform for the content that you're trying to get out there, then don't engage them, because creating an account just makes it look dead. You really need to engage it and give the content that is right for those medias. So what's right for those social medias? We've got, I think Instagram is first up there, right? So Instagram, if your content is best, if your story is best told in pictures, Instagram is where you need to be, and hashtag away, okay? If your content is best told in, in photos that like will have a recipe attached to it or a great creative do-it-yourself idea attached to it, then Pinterest is the place that you need to be. We've got YouTube for videos. We've got Tumblrs for people that love to write blogs. We've got Snapchat, which is a brand, I think, it's not brand new. It's relatively new, kid on the playground, and he is making leaps and bounds in making himself, you know, a have to have. Okay, I'm going to be super honest. I've got a personal Snapchat account, but my friends' 7-year-old twins are more active on Snapchat than I am, all right? But what I do understand is how businesses are utilizing Snapchat to reach their demographic better with Snapchat than they are Facebook. So 71% of Snapchat users are millennials. They're 18 to 34. If you've got a product or service that you're trying to market to a millennial, you need to be on Snapchat, because guess what? Less than 30% of Snapchat users are using Facebook. The older generation, Generation Y, is on Facebook. That's where they're playing. Millennials are playing on Snapchat. The cool thing about Snapchat and why brands are making such an impact with Snapchat is because Snapchat has a My Story feature that allows brands to tell a story in a few pictures that are only up there for 15 seconds apiece. Okay? And what it does is it makes the user, it makes the consumer engage with that story. With that short attention span, it engages them, and nothing else for for those 15 minutes or 15 seconds. So you have that time to get your message across quickly. They are solely engaged with that message, and it's remembered. With Facebook, you very easily could scroll past whatever message is being told on that feed. Yes, there are amazing algorithms with Facebook, and you can get very targeted with the demographic that you're targeting with your Facebook ads, but how many Facebook ads are we inundated with where we just scroll past that sponsored content because it doesn't have what we're looking for at that given time? Snapchat makes you pay attention, and that's the cool thing about Snapchat. So yeah, back to all of this. Let's bring it full circle. What kind of business would engage all of these platforms, and how would they engage them? Okay, so this is the last part of the presentation. I really appreciate you guys hanging in this long, if you have hung in this long. But so this is the last. This kind of brings it completely full circle, where we showcase the brand, we showcase the product, the service, and we talk about the differentiators to the different on the different platforms and how the different platforms can be utilized to talk to their target market. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've got here. Let's talk about our a pancake mix. So this was a company that we branded, Healthier Way. They've got a new product out. It's too far to get. It's a sweet potato. They've got a sweet potato flour, sweet potato pancake mix. Their entire value is gluten-free, a healthier way of living, right? So they took something that is typically a high-calorie, low-nutrition product, and they put a healthy spin on it, okay? So who is the tribe that we're looking for? People that want healthy things, that are shopping for maybe very nutritional, okay? If you've got kids, you want a high nutrient content. Gluten-free, allergy-free, dairy-free, these are all things that this brand promotes as their differentiator. Families are shopping for it. It's a sweet breakfast, so I would think that it would skew a younger demographic. So a mom is going to be shopping for something to feed their family, breakfast, okay? I have a very good idea of what this person looks like, okay? She's a mom. She's probably older than 30. She wants to eat healthy. She wants to shop healthy for her kids. I am sure that she is very busy. She's a multitasking mom. This is a person that doesn't just shop at Walmart for the value, okay? So it's skewing maybe higher education and a higher income level, because this is a higher priced product. This is somebody that shops maybe at Whole Foods because they can and they want to, right? It's somebody that does all the shopping and cooking and does all the family meal planning. Their life revolves around the kids and the work and multitasking, okay? So this person probably spends a whole lot of time on Facebook, okay? This demographic spends time on Facebook. Maybe they'll click on a YouTube link. Maybe they'll, I know they follow probably a number of blogs on Tumblr, all right? They post pictures of their kids on Instagram. They've got a number of brands that they're loyal to on Twitter. These are the social media platforms that this person is playing on. If she's got her own business, she's got Google Plus that she knows about. She's got a LinkedIn profile that she's paying attention to. So these are things that you need to be aware of, where your tribe is hanging out, right? Okay. So what does it look like? What do these social media posts look like? So we've got, just made a delightful new recipe with our Healthier Way sweet potato mix. Breakfast for dinner? Yes. Check out how we did it on YouTube. So this engages Facebook and YouTube, okay? We've got Twitter and YouTube here. So you got 140 characters to make an impact. That's why you're using a tiny URL. And if you don't know what that is, look it up. You can get them for free. But basically, it takes that long YouTube link and it gives you a tiny URL so that you're using less characters in your link. All right? Twitter, hashtags are huge. So think about hashtags that are, do some research and figure out which hashtags are relevant to your product and your demographics that you're looking for. Here I've used Crunchy Mama, Healthy Eating, and Nom Nom, which means yummy for kids, okay? We've got Tumblr and Instagram here. You post a video on your blog to see how to make these yummy, savory pancakes to complement tonight's dinner, right? And you beautiful photography. Okay, so all these things are how you would use them on all the different social medias. Here we engage Snapchat, right? So if I were totally savvy enough to be able to do this, I would have a Snapchat story, maybe 5 pictures of mom and kids making it, us cooking it on the griddle, you know, a series of 5 all the way through to eating it in empty plates and happy bellies and faces, right, with some great savvy captions underneath and hashtags used. Now I'm getting to a millennial generation as well, okay? LinkedIn and Google. So the posts here would be relative to the retail buyers. So talk about how the consumers are loving it and how it's flying off the shelves of the places that you're already at. Really engaging the buyers who want to buy your product in wholesale quantities for their stores. And if you're a service or a business, this is where you're going to post successful case studies, and you're going to say, hey, look at all these clients that are so happy with me. I've, you know, increased their sales, or I've, you know, straightened out their accounting books, and they love what I've got done. And that's where you're going to post business-to-business related things on your Google Plus and your LinkedIn, right? So this is, you know, you can really start to see here when I show you the variety of different posts, you can start to see the difference in how each social media platform, the difference in content, and you start to see the difference in the demographic and how each social media is getting to those different demographics. So, you know, like I said, this is big picture. This is very specific to a product, but very easily can be translated into a consumer of a consultant or a service, and how you're doing it and what you're doing can translate to any of these social medias if done properly. Really, you know, you can market your ass off, but if you're not delivering on that promise in the end, if your business sucks, then you're dead in the water. So my last thing to you is, with everything that you're doing, you really need to be authentic. This all goes back to some of my very first slides here in identifying your promise to your consumers, okay? You have to live what you're preaching. You have to deliver on that promise and be authentic to your values in everything that you're communicating, in every way that you're communicating, and you will build that tribe, and you will be successful, and you'll have repeat customers and lifelong brand loyalty, all right? So just to recap, we looked at branding, we looked at your logo design, we looked at your branding goals, we looked at design philosophy and how to market that all through social media. I hit on all of that with the booklet that I've posted for you there on the PDF. So all of this is sort of recapped, and it gives you some good questions and worksheets to work through all of the things that I've talked about today and make it applicable to your business and your brand. And I really encourage you to take some time with the questions that I've asked. Don't take it lightly. Really think about it and do some research to answer those questions, because it will help you in the long run, and that time investment will show its return if your message is communicated properly. So what I'd like to do for everybody that's in the room today, I don't know how many we had. I think we started with maybe between 25 and 30 people. Everybody that logged in today, I would love for you to reach out to me. I'm offering you a free 45-minute evaluation session with me, and this is something that I usually charge $200 for my clients, my initial consulting clients. So I encourage you to reach out to me, set the time up with me, email me, text me, shoot me a quick phone call. We'll set up time. We'll take 45 minutes. This 45-minute session, what it will do for you is I'll ask you a few questions. We'll talk about your challenges, whether you've been in business for a while or you're just starting out with a new business. We'll talk about your challenges in communication and marketing. And if there's anything that you want me to take a look at, I'm happy to take a look at and evaluate that in terms of visual, branding, and communication. And I will end the call with actionable items, things that you can do moving forward to increase your brand awareness and improve your brand communication. Reach out for help. You don't have all the answers. I've started to give you a little bit of the groundwork of the foundation, but you can't do it all yourself, and I strongly encourage you to take this opportunity. So I look forward to hearing from all of you. I can't wait to hear about your big ideas and your businesses and your services and your products, and I look forward to, relating to you guys one-on-one. It's so weird to just sort of like, be talking to I don't even know who's out there. So I want to talk to you guys. All right? I encourage you to do so. My last words of wisdom are: a penguin cannot be a giraffe, so just be the best penguin you can be. All right? And I'm going to sign off here, Adina. If there's any last-minute questions, I'm happy to take them.
Amanda, we just want to thank you for your time. This has probably been one of the best webinars we've had. So I really appreciate you taking the time to enlighten our audience. And everyone's been so attentive. I could see, the attendance. And I mean, that just speaks to how well you presented your topic. So I will send Amanda's contact information to everyone, along with the handout that we have. And you could reach out to her or take advantage of this offer that she's offering to everyone. So with that, this concludes the webinar. Thank you so much for everybody that is on the call today. Take care. Bye-bye.